All right, it's the Shay Mouth Lounge, episode number. What is it, Eddie?
218, I believe.
Two 218. I should probably remember that by now. And yeah, Addie's there. I'm here. I'm Alex. Yeah. All right, Addie, you giving it
Yes.
on your channel?
Yes, so this Friday, this past Friday, the Dust video released. I still need to post it on the forum because I don't remember. I never remember. But
Yeah.
this week, this upcoming Friday, is Under Night.
All right.
And that video was supposed to be that video was supposed to be released in last December. But I rewrote the script 4 times, and I remade the art for that video 3 times. So production.
well, well, I mean, only you can know when it's really done. I think.
I mean, I'd argue it's still not done because some of the how I convey some of my thoughts is not done. Like it's not properly encompassing actually what I feel completely. But it's the best I could put it to paper, more or less. So down the
Yeah.
line down the line I may return to it to try and express my thoughts better once I get better at it. But yeah, it's a good video. It's fine. It's just not perfect, which bothers me because I'm a perfectionist. And yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like sometimes, like you gotta sometimes you just got to release something if you just want to get something done if you don't feel that you're improving on it.
yeah,
And sometimes there are some thoughts that are just difficult to get out in words.
yeah, and good. I think that helps me actually keep this production thing going for these videos and stuff like that. Is there's a guy I watch who does fine art restoration, and I don't think it's his original thought. It may be. I wouldn't be able to tell. But he shared a really good thought, which is that you shouldn't let the perfect ruin the good.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I keep in mind while I look over the videos and go, oh, it's missing this or missing that, or I could have been, I could have explained this part of the game better. Or I could have made a joke that's not this lame. But something needs to be released, right? Or it doesn't need to be because there's not really people waiting for my videos. I missed that shell 3 years ago when I stopped making videos. But uh, you know, freaking I want to release videos again. I want to start trying to freaking do shit. And
Yeah.
if I want to do shit, then I need to set deadlines for myself, because if there's no deadlines, then I won't get shit done.
If it works, it works.
Yeah,
I absolutely just try everything you can and see what works, and if it works, then it works, you know?
yeah.
Unless it's dangerous to yourself, which I assume deadlines aren't.
Well, they do have that in the line, or the line.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm
but
gonna
you
need your
you you
bed by
know,
tomorrow.
oh, what is that line? There's a rap line that I'm thinking of, but I don't know the proper line. It's something like, if they catch me, if they catch me sleeping and I'm sleeping, then I'm sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was like Jay-Z or someone like that. Which, I'm sure you could actually explain what it's supposed to mean, but it's just really, yeah, it's a great line. I love it. But yeah, so with the deadlines, I need the deadlines so they won't catch me sleeping while I'm sleeping when I'm sleeping. Really, there's so many great rap lines. There's just I don't think they even remember which song it is, but uh fucking honestly, I don't remember the artist's name immediately, so I was just going to call her S Woman because that's how she branded
Mm,
herself for a while. Fuck, Nicki Minaj, yeah, her.
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so Nicki Minaj had a song where she repeated the same line twice and then just randomly inserted camel toe at the end, and I have yet to figure out. Yeah, Like, okay, no, actually, I remember it's the line is hum hum done the prayer. Did I tell them that I ball underwear? And then she repeats that line, asking herself the question of whether she's actually told them. And then she ends it by camel toe. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't I don't know what that song was supposed to convey, but it did.
I, I guess it did. Yeah. I hope.
But she,
Let's
she
hope she doesn't need to elaborate.
I mean, look, have you ever hummed on the prayer? Did I tell you that you ball underwear, camel toe? It's not a thing that many people can say about themselves.
Oh,
I think that maybe like I think that's from the same album where she has the line overseas church Vatican.
all right. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, so
yeah.
anything on your channel?
Uh, Nothing planned. I've been saying for a while that I was going to make a Warhammer 3 video, but I find myself too busy either with school or playing Elden Ring or playing Warhammer 3 to actually make a Warhammer 3 video.
Yeah.
With that said, I have made a very big step in progress towards considering myself to be at a point where I'll make a video instead of just playing. So who knows?
Yeah, you're in the gathering information part of production.
I'm well, no. What the video right now that I'm thinking about making is not one that I need to gather information. It's something I already know about. It's just that I was just pretty well taking the time to enjoy the game. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
All right. What's coming out on the group channel?
So on the group channel, which I forgot to actually pull up, so you're gonna have to give me a sec while it loads. And also,
Quickly, I will pad for time. I enjoy the video games that have recently come out, but I do not enjoy the schoolwork I have recently had to do. They have both come at bad times.
I do not enjoy the video games that have come out recently, and I also don't, and I enjoy your schoolwork. I guess I don't know how to be a contrarian asshole to that.
Oh, oh, nobody enjoys my schoolwork.
Not even your teachers.
No. Why do you think they make it so shit?
They, it's like it's like the curse from the ring. They share it so it will stop cursing them.
It won't. It won't kill them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. The videos. Yeah. So we have Spider-Man on Monday, or episode 9. Yes. Then we have Dead by Daylight on Tuesday, uh,
yes.
part 12. The second to last one actually.
Yes, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And then we have on Wednesday, I think, I forget, whatever. We have Fighting Games R, episode 37.
All right.
And finally, on Friday, we have Hitman 2, part 4.
Yes. That was a good one.
Yeah. So
Man,
that's,
I don't want to.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to like super spoil anything.
I mean,
But have you
I
seen
can,
that
yeah.
the very last level of Hitman 3, you start at the back of a train full of people, and it just tells you everyone on this train is a target. Kill them all, 47.
Ah, Uncle Ben shows
Oh
up in
yeah.
the Uncle Ben shows up in the sky. Kill them all, 47.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
uh there's something I appreciate about the buildup of so many levels where you have to eliminate one person in a civilian scenario and not kill any civilians. Then one last level, no, fuck it, kill them all.
Yeah. The, the last level of Hitman 4 is 47 on the Death Star, shooting a laser at Earth.
Hitman kill Agent 47 kills the Marvel universe.
Yeah. It's, Agent 47 kills the Marvel zombies.
Well, he'd be doing us a service then.
Yeah. what other shitty crossovers did Deadpool have? He did kill all of classic literature.
Yeah.
He killed the writers.
Yeah. For a
Uh,
good little period, they're making a thing that there were always Deadpool verses. So there's Deadpool versus Carnage, Deadpool versus Thanos,
yeah,
Deadpool
yeah, yeah.
versus Punisher.
Deadpool versus Carnage was fine. I actually have read it. Deadpool versus Carnage was fine, except for the one part that we all know.
Yeah.
Like I remember being like, okay, this makes sense for both of these characters to act this way, except for the dubstep. I mean, that makes sense for Deadpool, but it's lame.
uh,
Like,
anyways.
like from like that would have worked if instead of an iPod playing dubstep, Deadpool just brought out Skrillex and then Skrillex got eaten by Carnage, and Deadpool was like, oh shit, right. Anyway,
Yeah, but then Carnage is like, why is it spicy?
yeah. Carnage does the freaking Mudo Tensho out of, or fucking Skrillex does the Mudo Tensho out of Carnage, like Akuma did on. I'm forgetting his name. The new guy, the Kali. Yeah, him.
Ah, there's just bits of Carnage everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's just like, damn it, not again. Oh,
So yeah.
man. All right. So, what have you been up
Pink,
to the
what
past
have you
couple
been up
weeks?
to this week?
Well, I imagine right now he is breaking his spine, moving all of his things directly from Oregon
He's
to Oklahoma.
he's
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 just
carrying.
he's
He,
just
he
carrying them.
no, he's not carrying all of his furniture and shit. He tied all of his furniture to a car that he's carrying.
Yeah. Yeah. Tying it to the car so you cannot not drive the car, but just carry the car. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Here. And
Pink is, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a mountain range or two between Oregon and Oklahoma. There's the
Yeah,
Rockies or
Pink.
something.
Yeah, Pink is a big fan of Death Stranding.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to make this canon for when Pink comes back, that Pink's just Death Stranding all this shit from Oregon to Oklahoma.
Yeah, even though they're not settling in Oklahoma, but yes, he's putting all of it to Oklahoma and then getting it delivered to where they're moving. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
To the checkpoint.
yes. No, he's putting it in
Maybe
Oklahoma so the next players will have an easier time.
yeah. Maybe when he gets there he'll meet Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, but we definitely know that he will drink a lot of Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Unless it's the re-release on PS5.
Will he feel just like the Norman Reedus show ride?
Yes, he's also to best time. He's also listening to his favorite movie, Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I don't even remember if that's an actual movie or not. Honestly.
That yes.
Ah,
Yes
okay.
it
So,
was.
all right, I got the name right. Cool.
Um
Is that the worst kind of like self product placement that they could have done with Life is Strange? The, I
I
would, yeah.
honestly, I actually didn't mind it. I just figured that showed that Max was supposed to be a nerd, that she liked this notorious CG movie that bombed. You know?
Yeah.
I can see where that'd be seen as self promotion, but at the same time, it's like, that game was released about 15 or so years after Spirits Within bombed. It'd be weird for Square execs to still be trying to promote it, you know?
Yeah.
I
I
figured it
mean,
was just
yeah, go
just some guy at Don't Nod going, man, wouldn't it be funny if we referenced our publisher's greatest failure?
and then I didn't see Chrono Cross.
Well, well, I don't know how Cronus Cross did in terms of sales, but in terms of story, we were just talking about Alien 3 with Mike the other day.
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, both of them start off pretty well the same way. Hey, remember all your favorite characters from the last one? Yeah, well, they're all fucking dead. Here's a new cast.
Yeah.
What?
I also really like how Square is okay. They're remastering Chrono Cross. They're not remaking it, so it's better. But really,
Yeah.
like I really want freaking like just a proper port of Chrono Trigger. Not even a remake. Just take the SNES game, put it in a fucking emulator, and then put it up on the PS Store for $5, and I'll probably buy it.
Well, the thing with Chrono Cross is like my understanding is it's actually a fairly good game as long as you don't go in wanting it to be a Chrono Trigger sequel.
Well, I heard that, and that also like you shouldn't expect an actual story, because like there is an actual story, but the game tried to go for as large of a team cast as you can. So there's like 50 or like there's somewhere between 30 and 50 characters you can have on your team. So all of their stories are like all of their stories are about as deep as like a wafer is a freaking thick. So
and and they'll never comment during the main story cutscenes because you can't make different dialogues for 50 dudes possibly
I mean
participating in that.
you can. It just needs to be really generic.
That is true. Like, just leave a blank for like party member one name says you can't do that, something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Did you do anything with your week, Eddie?
Yes. So as an update, I suppose, the to my mom doing the freaking getting the test for being an assistant teacher. She got it. She needs to have another.
Yay!
She needs to honor another. She needs to do another one that we need to pay extra for to make it official for some reason. But
Heh.
that's that's how the freaking the system works over here
Welcome
apparently.
to government bureaucracy.
Yeah. So that's cool. But yeah. So that turned out fine. What did I really do with my week? Well, I spent the first half of the week trying to get work done on the Guilty Gear 1 review that I'm working on. It went nowhere. I need to retake the freaking the audio for it again. This is like I have 4 takes saved. I don't save all of the takes. So like for I have 4 takes saved and probably somewhere between 10 and 15 takes overall. And I will
Yeah.
and I will need to retake it again because none of them are good or even usable.
I mean, whenever you're happy with it, I suppose.
But the production on that has been stalled because uh well actually we wanna so I have some less fun things to talk about, and I also have some fun things to talk about. So which one should we start with?
Or the less fun.
All right. So on the side of freaking of doing the production for that review, I've also come in contact with some information regarding various topics.
What's
Namely,
that?
namely, I finally got the courage together and I looked up if there's an asexual subreddit. There is, and they have a really good freaking like FAQ for what it means and all of that. And uh, it gave me fuck. What's the word I'm looking
It
for?
gave you fuck?
Not yet. Not
That seems like the opposite of what it would
yeah.
give you.
It gave me like it bestowed. Sorry, because of what I'm doing on the side right now. I need to start to speak with like fucking mid English, but
Eh.
it bestowed me with the boon of knowledge. No, I mean kind of, but whatever. It explained some of the things that I've been trying to process myself because uh because of the way I was raised, which is the thing that my mom said that she fucked me up with. I have a hard time not following rules, and so I need basically that's why I need other people's approvals because if what I'm doing it gets approved by other people, then that means that it's within the rules, and so it's fine.
Heh.
And so people like this FAQ is not just opinion pieces. It's some of the things. Some of them are just opinion pieces, or this is what we think is happening. But some of them are actually like have scientific backing, and they have like references and shit to papers. So, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But so I figured out or come in contact with the fact that apparently there's like 4 different ways of or the means of attraction, which is like there's romantical, there's aesthetic, which I didn't know existed. There's also sexual, which I mean obviously, but so
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently I can feel aesthetic freaking attraction because that's not tied to sexuality necessarily, which is weird to me. But there's also the thing of freaking apparently the sexual attraction and the libido isn't tied to together, which is bad for me because I'm fucking sex repulsed and I don't want anything to do with it. Like I'm not I don't I say that I'm sex repulsed and I probably am. But at the same time, I've been trying to get better about not just fucking complaining for the sake of complaining about it because sex is not going away. It hasn't for it hasn't for the past eternity. I don't think I'm gonna be the person who abolishes sex, you know.
Yeah.
And like I've seen some people uh who are much worse about it than I am, and it's like because apparently there's also like there how do I put this? So there's people like me who don't like the thought of sex necessarily, but can acknowledge that it's a necessary thing that happens in nature, and people exist to procreate or whatever the right word is. And then there's also people who go so far down that route that they actually that there's a disorder for actually getting sick if people just mention sex, which is wow, get help.
Yeah.
And not even not I'm not even saying that those
I mean,
people
there's
no, I don't the thing is, like, I'm not saying that those people should get help because there's something inherently wrong with them. I'm saying they should get help so they can feel better. 'Cause fuck,
yeah.
that must suck.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's been a wild ride. As you
Sounds
can
like, yeah.
yeah. There's also a funny crossover with how apparently one of the like okay, yeah. So funny thing for one of the funny things, the big asexual subreddit, the main one I think. So its logo is the ace of spades. The ace symbol is supposed to be the ace of hearts, but everyone I guess decided that the ace of hearts was too lame, so we just took the ace of spades instead. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny to me. Also, apparently dragons are a symbol of asexuality for some reason. I don't get why, but hey, like I guess like apparently it's one of the old jokes to be like, hey, why would I want to have sex when I can be a dragon? Which is really funny considering I'm a fucking furry.
Mm.
uh, anyway, yeah.
No, I didn't have nothing to say.
All right. Now there is something that I want to ask your opinion on
Yeah.
that I've also seen come up a lot with regards to furry shit. So usually people argue on whether or not being a furry is an identity, which I think is a wrong way to look at it because people who are for it insist that they identify with their personas, and so to them it's an identity, but it's fine if other people if it's not for other people. And then people who are against it argue that it's just a hobby. Now the part where I have a problem with it myself is that a hobby can be your identity. Also, your identity is like okay. So one of the like I remember this exact post because it actually triggered me because the person was like, being a furry is not a sexuality or your race or your gender. It's not an identity. And I don't feel like any of those things are necessarily your identity. Your identity is who you are as a person. And my race, my sexuality, or my gender don't really or whatever don't really freaking like they only influence one's identity as much as they let them.
On some level, but I'd say that that's also like is a part of how you identify yourself on whether you are like out and super proud of it regardless, it's still on some level, some degree of how you identify yourself and things you think of definitively as yourself, right?
Yeah, that is true,
If
but
you were
yeah.
if there were a clone of you running around who was the same as you in just about every way, except he was like super, 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 super duper bisexual, you would see him and be like, ah, well, that's not me, you know?
Yeah. But like, I guess it's just the definition of the word identity because it gets thrown around a lot without anyone actually defining what it means to them because definitions get muddied over time as the word gets used more and more. And
Yeah.
like for example, if an identity depending on whether you ask someone about theirs or you ask a third party about someone's identity is either how they view themselves or how the world sees them. And the two can influence each other, I guess, in a way, in that the how the world sees you can influence what parts of yourself you hide and how you see it, or how or and you can influence how which parts of the world, which parts of you the world sees. Word words. I mean, fuck. Yeah.
Mm,
So
word.
word up to your mother. I'll be dropping them truth bombs, yo. Uh, anyway, so shit.
uh,
So my point is that the freaking like people saying it's just a hobby are right overall, but at the same time, with how hard they push back, it makes them a bit freaking like it makes them be a bit in the wrong as well, just because for some people cycling is their identity. And that's a hobby. Like that's the people are not born cyclists, but there are people who can be defined as being a motorcycle more or less. Like
yeah.
and so that's
I, I
that.
think it,
Yeah,
I think it can be either or because I mean someone can just identify themselves proudly. You know, I love to bicycle; it's my life's passion. But then there are some people who are just like, yeah, I like to bike from time to time.
yeah. Now, where the contention for me comes in is that a lot of times it seems like because the people like me who use this as a crutch, more or less, or now becoming a minority, the people who just do it as a hobby are pushing the people like us out, and because uh whatever, like because they don't feel the same. Obviously, that means that we are a different group altogether, and then they're like, obviously those people are just freaking otherkin. Now, I don't know how much you know about Otherkin. I won't claim that I know a lot because I read up on them like 12 years ago. Not that much, but genuinely like 10 years ago. No, it actually may have been 12. Shit. But yeah, I don't know how much you know about Otherkin, but those people are when it comes to like at least animals, I suppose, those are the sort of people who actually identify as the actual real animal. And that to me is a big thing, because I don't think that I'm an actual wolf. I don't even think I'm a wolf. I just want to be one, you know.
Yeah,
But like when I call myself a wolf or wolf or whatever, like I hope it's obvious that I'm referring to like an anthropomorphic one, and not like just an actual one that you can find in the fucking wild, because like that's close to clinical lycanthropy, and that's bad.
yeah,
So yeah. And I think that's the freaking that's the bad stuff. So for the good stuff, well, I played a couple of games against Shiva in Smite.
I saw that they released him. How is he? Like, what's his gameplay focus? Is he similar to Kali?
No, Shiva does whatever
Weird.
Shiva does whatever the fuck Shiva wants to do. Shiva Shiva can lock people down. Shiva can be an assassin. Shiva can heal people, mainly because fuck you.
Mm.
Like
Oh boy, are we gonna get into a Tiamat, Jack of all trades, master of none situation?
well, for now, I'm Jack of all trades, master of all.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, actually not. His like people argue that his kit is overtuned, and I don't know, like, because okay, overtuned can mean two things. One of them I agree with, the other one I don't, because overtuned. Some people say overtuned to say that this character's abilities can do too much, and some people mean overtuned as in does too much damage, can be nerfed with just numbers. And like, I don't think I'd agree with the first one, but I would agree with the second, because every Shiva I played with has wrecked house, so his numbers definitely need to be looked at. But I don't know if I'd say that his kit overall is bloated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't actually get to play Shiva because I don't have the freaking gold pass, and I'm not paying that much money for Shiva. Like, I have 2 warriors out of 5 that I own that I actually like to play, so I'm cool. But I did have a couple of good matches. I recently bought Atlas, and Atlas is very much a case of we wanted to make an aggressive guardian, but we realized that there has not been a tank released in like 12 years. No, it wasn't that long. It was, I want to say 2 to 5, somewhere between 2 and 5 years of no defensive guardian being released.
Yeah.
And so they released him as a defensive focused guardian with his numbers. People complained because he couldn't do shit because his kit is very aggressive, and if he can't do damage, then he can't do much at all. So they buffed him a bit to make it so that he can kill. Atlas is a force to be reckoned with. Like, Atlas,
Okay. Is it?
yeah.
So I take it they made him kind of Cthulhu styled, and that he is a guardian and a fairly tanky, aggressive guardian. But because he's so good at being an aggressive and yet also tanky guardian, he can really kind of dictate the pace of a match when he gets in the center
Yes.
of it.
Yes, we played one game with we played one game with Pink against an Atlas around release week, and the Atlas just showed up. He started doing the fucking he started doing the force grabs on us, and then just we die. So yeah, now that I picked up Atlas, I know how to do the force pulls, and let me tell you, Atlas and Shiva on the same team are very scary, because Shiva draws a line that Shiva draws a line that you can't leave, because Shiva draws a line that if you don't leave, you get damaged in, and then Atlas makes sure you won't leave. They're fucking bouncers, and it was really funny when freaking like when the squishies would fail to secure a kill or whatever, and I just throw the fucking astrolabe after people and they die. It doesn't even have a good range. I just played too much Sylvanas. Like, it has an okay range. I won't say it's bad, but you know, it's sometimes it's less than I would hope for. But yeah, so
Okay.
that's been cool. Smart has been having issues though, so I haven't played him in a week. No, it wasn't. It hasn't been a full week. But I stopped playing games for a bit because I had a bug where I legitimately could not choose a character, and 3 out of 5 people couldn't on our team. So
Ooh.
so I decided that I'm gonna give Smite some time to figure itself out. Like,
It does sound like a fairly important bug, yes.
yeah, like two people locked in characters, and then the third person tried to lock in Skadi, and then Skadi appeared and went away, and I'm like, okay, they're just being indecisive, and then they cycled around the list of characters, and I'm stuck with none of them, and then went back to Skadi, and then freaking went off of Skadi. And I'm like, man, they really just want us to choose someone, so I guess I'll be Atlas. Wait, why is the game not choosing Atlas? And then cue everyone cycling characters, as none of us can actually choose. And the best part is that the time ran out, but the game didn't put us back into the lobby. I had to fucking quit the game quit out of the game hard style. Yeah. So that was cool. And then what else did I do? I did draw a bit. I'm freaking circling around the main topic of this week. Let me see if I can get the drawings up.
Okay.
So, does that put it into art? I don't know. So I redrew the Denzaburo I drew a couple of months back. I think it turned out pretty nice.
All right. Yeah, it does. I
Thank
like
you.
that it looks like there's a little spotlight on him.
This is me. This is me when I can't hit three autos in a row,
Yeah.
more or less. Let's
Everyone gets like that with Hunter some days. That's why I always upgrade attack speed so I can miss a
yeah.
bunch of shots and it don't matter.
Yeah, I also always upgrade attack speed, but that's because I prefer playing attack speed as opposed to ability based. I also went back to playing controller because I was too like one of the things keeping me from playing Smite was just like I don't want to get the freaking the keyboard and mouse out just to play Smite.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I performed the same.
Yeah.
I'm even better with some characters. I couldn't play Atlas on keyboard and mouse, but like I got a Penta on controller, so that was funny.
Gorgeous. All right.
Yeah,
You know, I've never got a Penta ever.
but that's because you usually play like super support characters. I feel. Because like getting pentas has become really easy if you play a damage dealer.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Like I'm gonna be honest with you. All of the pentas I've gotten so far, I shouldn't have gotten just by going by how much work it took to get pentas before they made it more lenient. Like I don't like that they made it more lenient because I get pentas every game now, depending on the role.
And
And
Pentas are always partly teamwork. You always got to keep that in mind as well.
that is true. Did I make anything else? There is one picture, but I felt like I made other ones before that one. I guess not. I guess I literally only made those two this week because of the other game that I've played. Huh. All right. So yeah, after you posted the picture of you, I figured, I don't know what to draw. So hey, I tried to make you an avatar. There you go.
Yeah. Could put like that as 1/3 of the channel logo.
I could also censor it so you could actually use it on YouTube without getting flagged.
It'd be really hard for me to switch from the bison picture at this point.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
I do like it though. I think it does fit for our forum stuff. Either which way, you did say that there was a game you were playing, right?
Yes. So get around, children, because it is time for a scheduled Assassin's Creed rant.
Oh wait, I just noticed that you had the last name of my name make one of the eyes of the skull. That's actually a
Yeah.
really nice touch.
Thank you. Yeah. That was
Okay,
the.
before I so rudely interrupted, what were you saying?
So yes, it is time for the scheduled Assassin's Creed rant.
Okay, so you got to play Valhalla, right?
Yes. So
What did you think?
first, I would like to ask you what you think I thought, because honestly, like I'm at this point I'm curious about the perception of what I think about this series anymore.
I'm going to wager your opinion will be that it is still not Assassin's Creed proper, but that you thought it was a little bit more well done than Odyssey in terms of just trying to be Witcher. You'll say that it's a bad Assassin's Creed, but an okay Witcher game.
All right, I may surprise you. I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the best of the new trilogy.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. In what way?
And just overall, I think the parts. Okay, for context, because I feel like it's necessary that I give this context. Ubisoft recently patched the game so you can have a custom difficulty where you can turn up how much damage Eivor does, or how much damage Eivor doesn't do, as well as how much damage the enemies receive and stuff like that. You can actually
Ooh,
customize your stats. So basically, I went into the options menu and I turned the fucking RPG off. It's an action adventure game now. Fuck you. So
nice. Can you just make it like first blood mode? Everyone dies in a single hit.
yes.
Oh my god, that's great. I like that a lot.
So
One of my favorite mods I'd get for Fallout New Vegas was one that made pretty well all humans die in one hit, including the player, because it just made the gunplay feel a lot more satisfying, you know?
yeah. So I went into the options and just made all of the stats so that it would just play like a normal action adventure game, and I don't have to level. I don't have to fucking give a shit about the fighting mechanic because it still sucks. I don't have to do any of that. I can actually have fun with the game, and I have. I have had fun with the game now that the RPG stuff is fucking eradicated. But yeah, so like that's a big plus for this game that Origins and Odyssey doesn't have, is that because you can adjust the stats to your desire, more or like you still need to choose from options, but they gave you options for both sides. So you can make the game harder if that's what you want, and you can also make it easier or go by faster if
Yeah,
that's what you want. And I appreciate that.
yeah.
I have nearly beaten the game, by the way. I have like 3 more arcs to go, and I finished the game in this weekend, the free weekend. Yeah,
Alright.
I
Yeah.
I have 40 hours in this game in 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm nothing if not committed to actually getting my opinion together about a game, and like I haven't finished the game completely, so I will have to do an update next week just to make sure what I think about the ending and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But overall, like there's many elements that I feel like is Ubisoft going, hey, well, we know that we neglected the classic Assassin's Creed fans for the past 2 games, and which has been the past like 7 years, and freaking there's still some ways like there's one there's one scene at the start of the game where Eivor gets their hidden blade, and they receive it from an assassin who, like, okay, they don't receive it from an assassin. They get it from a person who got it from an assassin, and the assassin is also there. So it whatever. It's very roundabout.
Yeah.
And my point being that screen, or fuck, that scene felt like they were like it really to me felt like what may actually be going down with the higher ups meddling with the series,
Yeah.
because the scene is Ivor gets the hidden blade, puts it on the top of their arm, and the assassin goes, no, put it on the underside of your arm so it's hidden. And Ivor goes, I don't need to hide this. And I felt like that was a fuck you from the writer to the higher ups. Like, it's a very subtle fuck you, but still.
It also fits for a Vikings, but because
Yeah.
Vikings weren't necessarily known for their subtlety.
Yeah, but it just it feels like to me, because similarly Darius, is who may be the first the first example of someone using a hidden blade, like an actual, the mechanics, I mean, of the hidden blade.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was the first one who had one, and so and Darius had it on the top of his arm. So I feel like they're doing a callback to that, and how it's dumb and it's not assassin like, because it's not.
So the assassins had already organized enough to figure out the hidden blade under the wrist by that
Yes,
time. Here's a question: in Origins, did you get to use a hidden blade at all?
yes, and it was on the underside of your hand, and it also like they proved that it wasn't Because some people argued before Origins that the reason the ring finger for assassins is cut off is because the hidden blade needs space to come out. Odyssey, or not Odyssey, fuck. Origins disproved that because Bayek could use a hidden blade without losing his finger. He lost his finger when he had the like technically I suppose it was to give weight to the hidden blade because Bayek cuts off his finger while having his hand in a fist because
On accident?
well, he's in a struggle and he has to kill the guy with the hidden blade, but the hidden blade is being blocked by his finger, so he's just like fuck it.
I see. The hidden blade is strong enough to cut off a finger. I guess that makes sense if the mechanism's strong enough. That is neat. Neat is a solid explanation for it though, and it can explain the situations where the assassin, doesn't want to have an obvious open palm to let the blade out. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, after Bayek, though, it's not like they also explain it after Bayek. It's just dumb because Bayek lost his finger for an actual reason,
Well,
and after Bayek,
for
yeah, go ahead.
well, it's to prove loyalty.
Yeah, it is to prove loyalty, but I really liked that scene in the DLC, which like I really like how our Origins was just here's Magi game, and then also buy the DLC so you can play as an assassin. But I did buy the DLC.
Didn't Odyssey do that even worse?
Yes, because there is no assassin DLC in Odyssey. There's there is the
Well,
there is the have sex and have children even if you don't want to DLC though.
that is true. Yes.
I guess that's about as quality as an assassin DLC. I guess. Anyway, so yeah,
Why is it every single one of the assassins sleeps around like mad? I guess Connor didn't, did he?
yeah, not all of them. Like Altair only had one love. Honor didn't sleep around. Let's see.
Matter
Yeah,
Matter of fact, did Assassin's Creed 3 ever address who would have been the mother of Connor's child? Because logically speaking, Connor had to reproduce to later on produce Desmond, but who was the
Connor
mother?
Connor's love was an unnamed white woman who had blonde hair, from what I remember.
Wasn't wasn't there an early cutscene as Connor when you're taking the lessons from Achilles? Where Connor does look at some blonde woman passing him by and go like, "Hey," and then Achilles kind of smacks him on the knee like, "Pay attention, asshole."
I don't remember. But the reason I know that Connor had a wife and kids and shit is because it's in the novelization of 3, which I didn't read, but I have read people talk about.
Ah,
Like the novelizations is great because they actually let you know shit that the games omit because it was called content. Like Connor having a
yeah.
family.
Well, it sounds like they cut out all the important character bits for Connor.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
We needed more uh we needed more chapters as Hayden. You see. Connor couldn't get that time.
The thing is, I like that you played Hytham at first, and I love that bit where he becomes a Templar, and then you either hear Desmond or John Smith, whichever one, go what,
Yeah,
and then it's like,
that's
okay,
Desmond.
yeah, Haytham was actually the bad guy. Wait,
Yeah, I don't mind it from a story perspective, but at the same time, like if I had to choose between having Hayden and having Connor actually be a character, I would choose Connor being a character because he's kind of the protagonist.
that is true. Yes, that is true.
But yeah, so Valhalla, the clothes actually look assassin-like, and that's not something like
Weird.
who the tongue, freaking the like it still has some weird parts, but okay, yeah. Valhalla, there is that's important to me, and I need to point out. So Valhalla, if for nothing else, is much better than Odyssey for one reason and one reason only. Because in Odyssey, one of the major side content wasn't fucking rap battles.
Oh, oh, they put in Viking slam
Yeah,
poetry.
yeah, flighting. And flighting, like you have one stat that you can raise in the game without like with mental shit. That's charisma. You raise charisma by doing flighting and winning flighting.
see.
And it's fucking great. I love it. Like the first time I tried it, I didn't wager because you need to wager for all of these. And I didn't wager a lot because I was like, well, I don't know what flighting is, so I'm gonna suck at it. And then I was like, wait, this is just rap battles. So
Yeah.
so after that, I've been wagering the highest amount of money that I can, and then I win all of them first try. The best part was,
There's
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's not enough focus on the like aspects of Viking culture that aren't just manly man raid. Whoa.
Yeah, and flighting is my favorite part of the game. There's So that, of course, because of where the story is right now. So yeah, we will come back to it. But because of where the story is right now, we need a lot of history involvement and seeing into their world and whatever for whatever reason. I hate it. It's not good. It's the only parts of the game that I actually genuinely dislike completely. Like even it going by fast.
Fucking Assassin's Creed meta story. Oh jeez.
But there's one part that I liked in the Isu part because in the Isu parts you play as Odin, and there's one part where Thor challenges Odin to a rap battle, and they're standing on
Oh my god.
standing on two sides of a ravine, on two big protruding rocks, and they just fucking shout the rap lines at each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. And then
The best parts of Assassin's Creed are always the focus on just the funny little historical bits.
yeah. My favorite part of it was after Odin wins the fighting, he just yells over to the other side. So Thor, tell me, what does defeat taste like? They taste like? For I know not the taste. It was great. So story is all right. Like I don't hate it. There's different small parts that or like how should I put this? You remember Mafia 3? That's a bad way to start, isn't it?
I didn't play Mafia 3.
Ah, so Mafia 3's design is that you have different boroughs, and then in the different boroughs, you do the same mission, like the same 4 or 5 missions over and over again. And once you've done enough missions, you can hand the borough over to a character who's not on screen,
I see.
and that's how you beat the game.
Yes, I do remember hearing about this.
So Assassin's Creed Valhalla is in a manner kind of designed similarly, in that the overall the overall like skeleton of what happens in each borough or whatever, each like part of England that you're trying to conquer, which you're actually trying to conquer, but whatever, we'll come back to that. So yeah, but yeah, you have the same skeleton for what happens in all of them, but at the same time, they actually have like stories and different missions and shit, so it's not as repetitive. Like usually you show up, you talk with your local informant, you freaking do whatever missions it is the game requires you to do, and then you storm a castle and then leave. But then in the middle missions, there's other stuff to do, and some of them don't even have a castle to storm. Like I really liked one of the one of the areas was just Halloween, and you had to go trick or treating. Yeah, there was also other stuff, but that's the thing that's stuck out to me, is that you had to go trick or treating. And then let's see what else is there to really point out without going into the story. There's I guess that's part of the story, but whatever. There's this crewmate that you have in the game called Dag or Dag, I forget.
Yeah.
He's really annoying to me specifically just because like he's supposed to be the quirky one, but he's quirky in a bad way because I know a person who acts like that. So uh Dag's character is that he's a fucking liar and annoying to be around, and the way the way he talks and the way he's never wrong and shit like that is perfectly one to one how my old neighbor used to be. So I have negative amounts of tolerance for this sort of shit. And he's supposed to be like the funny uncle, except he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I see. I see. Yes.
Yeah. So around the middle of the story, he accuses you of trying to not even solve the problem in the story. So I just fucking took the chance and killed him, and he's dead.
Oh, I
And
see.
I am glad
I see. I see.
because he he challenges Eivor to a battle to the death to prove that Eivor is not lying about trying to trying to solve the problem. And you can choose to try and de-escalate the problem. I chose to kill him because I don't want him on my ship anymore. And then the game acted like I was in the wrong for that cutscene where he dies. And after that, everyone was just like, "Yep, he's dead now. I guess. Okay, cool. I don't care." Which is the right way to go about this. That character, the game is better than that character is dead. But I bring him up because he's one of the two characters who has stories to tell, which is why I know he's a fucking liar. And because one of the characters who tells stories while you are sailing tells stories that you can realistically believe. But but all of the or there's stories about other people sometimes, or I was there to see this happen or whatever. His stories are always fucking Ragnar Lothbrok came down and sucked my dick because I am just that great.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I can guess what kind of character that is.
so yeah, freaking that and because of the like okay that is one of the problems with the game is that both the music, because you can choose to have the sailors play music or tell tales while you're sailing for a long while, and there's only like 4 or 5 pieces of music, and I've already went through all of the tales of the one character who's not an asshole, and I'm not listening to the other guy because he's dead, but before that because I don't care. So that is one of the issues with the game, is that it doesn't have enough like content to tide you over when the game expects you to sail from one end of the map to the other.
Hmm.
And like the another problem is that obviously you would just like fast travel, but fast travel is not fast travel. Like a lot of times I have to look at the map, and I have to calculate whether going by horse or doing fast travel is faster, because fast traveling takes me 5 minutes to load, and going there by horse there by horse may take me 3. So sometimes I need to look at the map and decide whether freaking I want to waste 5 minutes to wait for the game to load, regardless of where I'm teleporting to. Because like sometimes it is faster, but that's like that's 5 minutes instead of 12.
That's 5 minutes you can get up and make a sandwich.
Yeah, like that is one of the things that is against the game. The loading times are just fucking long on slim PS4. They're probably better on PS5, but still, fuck.
Yeah, why release it on PS4? Well, I guess Red Dead 2 released on PS4 several years ago, and that one also has monstrously long loading times.
Oh, yes, but Red Dead 2 has a fuck ton of content and also doesn't look like this.
That is true, yeah.
Like this game has really good lighting and shit, and good like texture mapping for the buildings. The people look uncanny. Like they or no not uncanny would be good, because then they would look real, I think. No, the people look serviceable. Like they don't look bad, but they also don't like the model quality does not justify the loading times.
Yeah.
And then what else? Loot is a lot more toned down from previous games. You don't get loot from every fucking person who dies. In fact,
Good.
you only get loot if you go out of your way and actually like look for chests and shit. So that's good.
I
I
mean,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, one of the biggest things I hate in any RPG or RPG adjacent game is meaningless loot.
yeah. Diablo was not a game made for us.
Well, Diablo I'm actually fine with, or at least I was fine with Marvel Heroes, and Marvel Heroes was like Diablo, but on a much bigger scale. Because Diablo, you just trash a lot of it so quickly and get rewards for it, so snappily. And so often there is loot that changes your whole playstyle. Whereas games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or whatever, it's like, all right, here's a spear that increases your attack power by 53. Here's one that increases it by 54. Here's one that increases it by 55. Blah, 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 blah. Why'd you even give me half this shit?
I mean, not only that, but it's like here's a spear that gives you 3% more assassin damage and also sets people on fire. Here's a spear that freaking that has poison on it and also does 3% more freaking hunter damage. Why does a spear like change hunter damage again instead of hunter
Yeah,
weapon?
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
like the other example to always bring up is Borderlands, right? Because Borderlands, it's nice when you get like the big crazy gun that's like, oh, it shoots 4 grenades and they explode into 4 more grenades each, and it's like, oh. Most of the guns you pick up in Borderlands are just like Skinny Tom's pea shooter does 0 damage. Is an SMG with 5 shots and a 10-hour reload time. It's like, oh, fucking great.
yeah,
I can sell this for pennies at the next time I go back to town. But it takes up an inventory slot anyways because this game has limited inventory.
yeah. Like my favorite weapons are freaking in Borderlands or any of these sorts of games are like when it's just like here's a new gun. It's the switcheroo. It shoots bullets at you.
Yeah, you just take damage.
Yeah,
That actually might be good for Krieg, honestly, come to think of it. Doesn't Krieg get stronger the lower his health is?
it depends on his build.
That is true, yeah. Hurt
But
me harder, bro.
yeah. Now one thing that I don't like about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I guess I have been talking about things I don't like for a bit, but whatever. One thing that I don't like is how uh they're still doing the fucking thing where you can choose the gender of the main character or whatever the sex of the main character. I don't give a fuck, dude. Actually write a character. Like, if you
Yeah.
like Cassandra is canon, female Eivor is canon, which Eivor is a female name from what I understand from the reception around the time it was announced. But like if you want to write a female character, write a fucking female character. I personally won't give a fuck. I
I
like I choose the
I
I
think they
at this point I fucking choose the male characters just to fucking spite them because they don't have the balls to
I
write an actual female character. Fuck.
I think they want to make a female main character, but Assassin's Creed has a big enough dude bro audience, they think they'd lose it if they made it mandatorily female.
No. The reason apparently the reason is internal. One of the guys who was who was either like a series director or like some head guy at Ubisoft who was out as like a sex pest recently, just thought that games with female leads couldn't sell, so he just made sure that no Ubisoft game had a female lead.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the writers and most of the game's directors probably want a female lead, but some corporate guy is saying if we put a female lead in, we lose our audience. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but I don't know because to me like to me it seems more like Ubisoft freaking like okay now how do I say this fuck. Like, to me, it seems like the problem lies at Ubisoft rather than the fans because it doesn't like okay. I was going to say it doesn't
Well,
it doesn't strike me out the freaking Ubisoft the Assassin's Creed fandom where they would have that sort of thing. But at this point, like they sold out to go mainstream, so I don't actually know anymore.
I think it's not necessarily the fans' fault. I think there is probably a bigger than we would expect section of dude bros in the Assassin's Creed audience. But I don't think it's necessarily a fan fault, nor do I think that modern dude bros are necessarily all that mad about the idea of a female protagonist. But I do think that it's a corporate attitude of are we making a AAA game for Westerners? Then it has to follow a male protagonist.
Yeah, and then we'll just say that the female one was canon. Like that's the thing for
Yeah.
me that like I just want them to commit to writing a character because I like Eivor. Eivor has a good character, but there is nothing like if Eivor is if female Eivor is canon, then I would want there to be a scene where an Anglo-Saxon is like, what the fuck, this woman can handle herself,
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that I'm missing, that I also missed in freaking in Odyssey, but that's over there because I don't actually know the like culture behind how Greeks like thought of women and shit like that. But like
Rampant misogyny.
okay, so it should have been even worse there. I see, but you know,
The Greeks were super sexist. Like it went beyond just simply a woman can't handle a weapon to a lot of Greek culture actively despised femininity and viewed it as the epitome of evil.
I
Which is
see.
why they thought it was which is why they thought homosexuality was such a cool thing amongst dudes because you were getting your dick wet, but you weren't sleeping with a woman, right? You're sleeping
Yeah,
with a man, and a man's better.
yeah,
Viking culture, that's a whole debate unto itself because there's evidence that some of the Vikings were sexist. There's some of the evidence that some of the Vikings weren't sexist.
yeah.
It's
No,
definitely known that
like
there were lots
yeah,
of women in Viking history who were buried with weapons, but
yeah,
that people argue whether or not those weapons were real or honorary too. So
yeah. And for my piece, like, I can believe Eivor being a female Viking warrior, but the Anglo-Saxons would have flipped their shit at least at first if a female Viking warrior shows up and wrecks shit in England.
could be. I don't know. I don't know as much about Anglo Saxons. Truth be told, I don't know that much about either culture, but
I mean, I won't claim that I know a whole lot about either, but at the same time, like with Anglo-Saxons, like the women are usually like from what I understand, women were usually more like the quiet but strong types if they were strong or thought of as strong. So like they wouldn't be the people who go into battle. They would be the people who would stab people in the back, like literally.
yeah.
So like women could, handle their way around the knife, but they couldn't go out to hunt and shit like that. Anyway, so yeah, like Eivor would have been a culture shock, and I like I would have liked to see them actually trying to make that culture shock work, but because they made it so you can be male or female with Eivor, they just fucking took that part of the game completely out because you can be male and there would be no culture shock if a male Viking starts liking shit because he's a fucking dude. And it just feels like cowardice. Like not from the writers, from the people who demand that it be written this way.
yeah.
Although for my part, like I like I am of the unpopular opinion that male Ivor's voice work is better because it makes him doofier. Like female Ivor is a good like female Ivor is a big like gruff warrior. So it's what you'd expect a Viking to be. Male Ivor, it has a constantly cracking voice and not in the like it's not like a teenager, but more like he's been shouting for the past hour, and his voice just doesn't like it.
Who's to say he hasn't been shouting for the past hour?
Yeah,
He
but
is
he
Viking.
but yes, but like his voice got out while whispering and shit. It's great. Like it gives the voice work charm.
I see.
Like it genuinely gives the voice work charm to me. There's also there's a mission where you can save a wolf from captivity, and then the wolf saves the children of your village, and you pretty much adopt the wolf, and you can give the wolf a name, and then I really liked it how the freaking like all of the names suck that you can give to the wolf. So I went with the dumbest one because it was like one of them was Chewy. One of them was like don't remember what the third one was, but the one I went with because it was such a so dumb is the Wolfga.
Uh, okay.
Because you see the fucking the children just took the words dog and wolf and meshed them together, and that's what they got.
I see.
And so freaking like there's a line that Eivor says when there's a number of lines Eivor can say when they see the wolf that you've adopted. And one of the ones with this name is the Wolfgang. It's good. It's so good to see you. And the delivery of male Ivor is just much warmer than female Ivor. and it's such a small petty thing. But yeah, but it matters to me because it changes how the character is portrayed.
Yeah.
Uh, what other funny things? Oh, I think there was a One Punch Man reference at one point.
No.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Right, you can fight the One Punch Man. Right.
yeah. That was a funny fight to just randomly stumble upon. And I also like how side missions are not side missions. They're radiant stories. They don't, or not radiant stories because that gives to freaking mind radiant quests and those suck. But like they're like city stories or whatever they call them, where they don't get cutscenes, but they do still tell a small scale story that's self contained. That's a good alliteration that I just did accidentally. But yeah, freaking some of those have been fun. I haven't done a whole lot of them because I'm trying to finish the story, and then I'll go back and freaking start doing those and getting all of the hidden pieces of Eden and shit.
Yeah.
But like one of them was that one with the wolf. One of them was there was this random story in the city where a woman stops Eivor, and they're like, Eivor, I need your help. But no, it's not even they don't call them by name because they don't know them at that point. But it's like Dane, because obviously if you're a Viking, you come from fucking you're fucking Danish, you know.
Yeah.
Every Viking comes from Denmark. But yeah, freaking Dane, come and help me. I have a big problem. And you go inside and speak with her, and she's like, I need you to set my house on fire and break all of my shit so I can get horny.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. I see. Woman, I've been waiting all my life for someone to ask me to do that.
yeah. And then freaking you do all of that in front of, because the thing is it's not just a woman, because she brings you back to her husband, and both of them can only get horny when shit is getting destroyed. So you set their house on fire, you destroy all of their furniture, and they're like, all right, here's your money, now leave. And then I assume, and then I assume they burned to death while fucking.
I hope that as you're walking, like, I hope that they then have a cutscene where it's just Ivor walking away, like counting his money, and in the background you just hear the most ridiculous noise, like "Honk, honk, awooga, awooga."
Yeah. No, there's no cutscene because it's a story quest, but it would be funny if they did that.
Well, you can't even see it; it's just happening somewhere in the background.
Yeah,
Ivor's just like, oh, 5, 6, 7, 8.
yeah. And I don't even know what else to really discuss because there's like the customization isn't great. They also scaled back the customization because there's less loot and shit. The
Yeah,
the outfit customization I'm fine with because most of them look assassinish enough that I'm fine. But you can customize your hair, and I feel like there should be more hair because it's you have 4 hairstyles and then 4 different colors for those 4 hairstyles, and they call that freaking like uh
that's disappointing. There's always loads of creative Viking hairstyles.
yeah, there's all of the creative Viking hairstyles like mohawk, without a freaking a red tail at the end of it. What else? They have the British bulldog. No, not the braids, the other one. I think that's I think he had hair like that. Or no, oh they have the Chris Jericho from like 2002 when he had the like not on the back, but he also had it let out a bit, so it looked really dumb and stupid and bad.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chris Jericho had a hairstyle, like he had like a rat tail, from the back on the lower side of the back of his head, but he also had his hair free flow, some of his hair free flowing, so it just looked bad.
Okay.
I think he also had like tie dye, not tie dye. He also had like the dye dipped mohawks around that time. on top of all of this, which they don't have yet in the game, and I am sad. Obviously,
Yeah,
that's the thing that they should add to make the hairstyles work.
yeah, that's the last ingredient.
But yeah, like there's all of lot of there's like there's two shortish hairstyles and there's two longish hairstyles. Maybe there's five actually. So yeah, I think there's five. There's three longish hairstyles and there's two shortish hairstyles. And if you don't like any of them, well, tough luck. And the part that I don't like personally about the long hairstyles, because like there are some that could work for a look. At the same time, if you want to do the long hairstyles, then one side of your head is just shaved, and I have no clue why. I mean, I know why. I just don't like that they didn't give the option to work around it because you have a face tattoo on that side by default, and they want to show that off. So I understand that. But also, I changed my face tattoo so it looks like I'm fucking Kane, almost Kane from when he removed it. He meet freaking from 2002 when he removed the mask and he still had the makeup on. That's the look.
Yeah.
That's the look I have going for me, and it would look really dumb if I had a full head of hair except for that one side where it's bald. So yeah, overall with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I've I've honestly thought about buying the game, and the thing that's really keeping me now is that I don't want to give that much money to fucking Ubisoft.
Well, there's that, and I mean, do you really want to play through the game again when you could spend that money on a game you're more likely to enjoy for several goes around? You know?
I mean, I could see myself enjoying this one for several goes around now that like because you don't have to fucking do all the RPG stuff.
Yeah, but at
Because
the very
yeah,
least, you can wait a year or two, and it'll go down. It'll go
yeah.
down in price.
Oh yeah, I'm not planning on fucking buying it now because it's still
Yeah.
like it's still the Ultimate Edition is still like $100. So
Ooh.
yeah. So like it is on sale for only like 50, but it's still about 40 too much for me at the moment. Well, no, I would pay $20 for this game. Not 30 though. 30 may be pushing it a bit too much because 30 is the
Yeah.
base version of the game right now. And then like I like this game, but if I'm buying it, then I would like to buy it with all of the DLC because whatever.
Yeah.
There is also some other Assassin's Creed news that I've told Pin, but I haven't told you, I believe. So
Uh,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
so we may be getting a new Brotherhood,
Really?
not an actual like continuation of Brotherhood as a game, but one of the DLCs for this game spun out of control, and now it's going to be its standalone game.
Oh, I
But
see. I
yeah,
see.
so
That's always interesting when that happens. Brotherhood
yeah,
was one of those. Saints Row 4 was another instance of a DLC that spun out into its own game, right?
yeah, and so
Then they kind of did it again with Gat Out of Hell.
yeah. So what we know so far is that it follows the assassin from Valhalla in I forget which city. I think it's Bangladesh, but I can't know for sure. Whatever. I don't remember. It's a big city somewhere. But it's a smaller scale game with more focus on stealth and parkour, is what they said.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and it's also going to be set in a big city. So taking all of that into account, it sounds like they're trying to get the classic fans back into paying for them because I guess the $1 million that they got from this game is not enough.
Nah.
I mean, like the thing is, on one hand, I want to say that this game doesn't deserve the $1 million because it's made by Ubisoft. On the other, it kind of does. Like it did fix a lot of what my issues were with the other two games in this trilogy.
Yeah.
But like I still kind of wish Ubisoft didn't get $1 million at the end of the day.
Yeah, just Yeah, just the executive guys and those other like sex pests, just drop dead at some point. Then you could go back to buying Ubisoft games.
Yeah. We just need the help of freaking not Yoshikage Kira. That would work too, but not no. Freaking Yagami Light.
Yeah, Punisher, he could work. He could step in.
Yeah. Uh.
The guy from Death Wish, the original Charles Bronson one, not the Bruce Willis one.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Bruce Willis. Not modern Bruce Willis.
Did you see his new movies?
I saw bits and pieces of the new Death Wish he did.
I
It
don't.
didn't seem as atrocious as most of what Bruce Willis does nowadays, but that's not really that much of a brag.
I don't know if it was that wish that I saw bits and pieces of, but I saw bits and pieces of some of his movies, and yeah, there was
Yeah,
a
that's
yeah.
as one guy who is now just signing up for anyone who will give him a paycheck. That's for certain.
Yeah, I really liked his role as I really liked his role as Hugh Hefner for freaking impersonator. There was one movie where he was supposed to be like this badass killer or whatever that people are trying to kill, but he was just like Hugh Hefner, and he also didn't shoot anyone. Well, his character shot people. He didn't. His face was never
I
on screen.
see.
His face was never on screen when people died. So so I have my doubts. You know.
Because Bruce Willis was charging a ludicrous amount per scene, so they could only have him for so much,
Yeah.
and for nothing very active, action heavy. All right. Did
Yeah.
you do
So
anything else with your week, Eddie?
uh, I don't think so. I think that may be it. So yeah.
All right.
So that now from one tirade to another.
I actually don't even have any real tirades stored up, come to think of it. I did, for the first time ever, beat a Total War Warhammer campaign. I beat Total War Warhammer 3 as the morbidly obese Greasus Goldtooth, the ogre who is morbidly obese, but he can walk around on his own. It's just he's so rich, he insists on being wheeled around on a royal cart with a load of treasure on him. It was fun though. I will say, what finally motivated me to beat a campaign of Total War Warhammer 3 was the fact that this is the only game so far that has had an unlockable locked behind beating the campaign.
And when you look, the text file wasn't there in
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah. A lot of people bringing that old thing up. That's a pretty good one. No, he's not in the text file. There's actually two unlockables like that in the game right now. One, you have to beat the campaign with any race, and another one you have to go through with Kislev and collect all the Kislevite cities, reunite Kislev to unlock. I've not done that one yet, but it is my next priority. But yeah, it's a pretty fun campaign. I think that there are some problems with Warhammer 3. They're working on a lot of them. There used to be performance issues for people with Intel processors, which includes me, but they fixed that. The game does have a bit of a problem with alt tabbing right now, which I think they're working. They said they're working on a couple things. Chariots for Slanesh are bugged. Flying units have a problem of when you tell them to attack a ground unit, some of them get stuck inside the ground unit.
Nice.
But they're all very definitely like the Slanesh Chariots one is bug and annoying because it's cutting off one of Slanesh's major ways of playing the game. But other than that, I'd say every bug in the game can be played around. Though it could definitely stand to see a few bug fixes. The other major thing I want to say, just real quick, I'll move off it real quick because Warhammer 3 is one thing that I can either say very little about or say a shit ton about, but there's no in between, and I don't want to go to the in between stage and get forced into saying a lot about it. They put in a new graphics engine, a new lighting engine, a new rendering engine in Warhammer 3. It does a wonderful job of making everything look gorgeous. Even the models taken from Warhammer 1 that are kind of stinky look great in Warhammer 3, which makes me really excited for when they release the Immortal Empires update, which is the one that will let you play as the Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 races if you own those games. Basically, the game it'll be the update that adds the forward compatibility, right, or
Yeah.
the backwards compatibility. Yeah, there you go. So really excited to get to grips with that.
I don't know why or how, but instead of backwards compatibility, I had backwards. Heard backwards.
Patwards,
Bad,
patwards compatibility.
bad words. It's fucking Batman.
Batwords.
Yeah, it's Batman compatibility. Why not? Why is
That
Batman fighting the orcs?
if if Batman did implement backwards compatibility with some of his tech, he'd call it backwards compatibility.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
I
not
really
enough
like.
comics that
Yeah.
there's not enough comics that directly address how much of a dork must Bruce Wayne must be to call everything the Bat whatever, you know?
Yeah, my favorite cell was I saw recently a thing where I think it was either Harley or Catwoman are complaining about just that to Batman, and then he just keeps doing it more and more to piss them off. Where he's just like where he's just like, look out so your bat feet don't get stuck on the bat floor.
Yeah. Batman needs to have a bit more of a sense of humor. I don't think he can have too much of a sense of humor because then he isn't Batman, but he needs to have little bits of humor. Or for one thing, it shows Bruce is still human, but also shows sometimes Bruce likes to fuck with people.
Yeah,
Yeah. Either which way, speaking of comics, my sister recently signed up for the service that lets you read all the DC comics and all the Marvel comics, right? Or it was the one of each, right?
yeah.
DC DC Universe and Marvel Unlimited, or maybe it was Marvel Universe and DC Unlimited. I don't know. Either which way, I've been using it to. She has kindly let me use it as well, and I've been using it to read through a lot of the very first issues of a lot of characters. I read the very first Batman story. That one's a funny one because that's 1937, right?
Yeah.
Peak of the Great Depression. So back in those days, they had to have as many stories packed into one comic as they could to sell it because people in the Great Depression were looking for a bargain. So Batman gets 6 pages, the very first Batman story. That was just so bizarre.
Batman gets 6 pages. 6 pages. Five pages are him walking up a staircase. The six pages is a freaking full spread of him shooting a guy, and then that's the end.
Yeah. I'd always heard people say, like, oh, old Batman used guns. He didn't use guns in this story, at least, but I don't think I'm going to bother to read that many more old Batman stories because they kind of suck. The art is definitely quite bad. And let's see, I also read over on the Marvel side, I read the first 5 issues of Fantastic Four. And it's interesting to read it, certainly. For one thing, I'll address the art first just to get out of the way so I don't forget about it. Jack Kirby was the artist, of course, and Jack Kirby was a wonderful artist. But you could tell that at the point in time where they were doing Fantastic Four, he was stretched too thin, overworked, working on too many of Marvel's comics at once. Because you can look over at a lot of the monster comics that Jack Kirby was doing around that time, and Kirby was already in full swing and drawing in that full signature Kirby style that made him so famous. Then you look at Fantastic Four. Honestly, Kirby's art on the first 5 issues of Fantastic Four is a bit shit, which I was
I
shocked by.
I
You
forgot.
know?
I forgot. I need to check if my thing of I think it was the Avengers that I think he did. I don't remember. Let me see. If it was either that was Spider-Man, but there was like no, yeah, Jack Kirby did make the first Avengers comic. Yeah, that man had a thing for noses. And I don't mean sexually.
Yes.
I mean he had a thing for big fucking noses. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Jack Kirby loves big square noses.
And
Oh
it's not
man.
even a thing. Like I'm not trying to shit on his art because like dude get paid for his art. It's better than mine. But that doesn't mean that he didn't have a thing for noses. It's just a funny observation.
I remember once upon a time watching the Zero Punctuation review of Yakuza 0. And Yahtzee at one point describes Kiryu as a man with a brick for a face. That's every man that Jack Kirby's ever drawn.
I know. Did he also make the? Okay, actually, I did do something else this week. It turns out I got a compilation of Captain America comics, but But because of Assassin's Creed, I haven't been able to read through it completely. Did he do the art in this one too? No. Okay,
Kirby
yeah.
Kirby did the art on the very first Captain America comics.
Yeah, that's what I remembered, but not apparently they don't have the first Captain America comic in this one. Yeah, he didn't do the art in any of these, which explains why Captain America's nose is not fucking big. you know, I'm stuck on that, but like
When I think
it's
of Jack Kirby art in Marvel, I always think of his depiction of Thor.
I don't know, like I'm just going with the bit, but I just imagine fucking nose press. Uh,
Actually, his Thor wasn't as crazy square nosed as I thought.
I guess I'll look it up and
I'll grab
hope.
a picture of it
Oh,
anyways.
right, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely. I think Kirby definitely did get better with time, which every artist does.
Yeah, that's just how practice works.
Because like here, none of these
Yeah,
guys
this
have the typical Kirby look to them.
yeah, this art I think is fine. Like the shading is really nice and shit. So but I'm praising the freaking art of a very renowned guy. Like it fucking matters. But still, like it's not Loki in that one in the first cell of Avengers 1. Is it actually the first cell? I can check. Give me one sec.
Oh man, Kirby's real good stuff was when he did New Gods. Hang on. Yeah, I'll take this one. This one's a good one. This one's a real good one.
Yes,
When
it
Kirby
is
did
literally the first cell. I think if not the freaking if not the like cover. Yeah, that stuff is great. That looks really nice.
Kirby stuff on New Gods was so good. I'm trying. What was the he once did a depiction of Star Wars, I think. Jack Kirby Star Wars.
No, not the first movie Avengers. I don't need Tom Hiddleston or whoever. Uh, please give me a picture of Loki. None of these are the pictures of Loki that I want. There is the whole comic starts off with a big fucking picture of Loki's nose that I'm looking for. That just like yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
just putting in Jack Kirby Loki.
I looked up Avengers comic first issue Loki. Like there's only so many cells I can get. Let's see. If you type in Jack Kirby, does it give you the freaking the thing I'm? No, it doesn't really. I
It's
can't.
probably gonna. The thing is, it's inevitably going to try and bring up like the best depictions Kirby ever had of a character, right?
Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of well-made Lokis here, but not the not the stinky one I'm thinking of.
Not the schnoz.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Loki is a trickster god. He can change forms. He changed his nose to be to be 5 sizes bigger because he thought it looked funny.
He's always got a strange sense of humor, that guy.
Yeah. But like yeah, like the thing is like to me at least it sounds like I'm hitting on these freaking renowned artists who actually got paid for their art and shit. No, I just like noticing stuff like this helps me work on my art because it means that I
Yeah,
like because it means that I can compare my best art to their worst and be like, hey, I can improve.
yeah.
And because like there was a cell in the Captain America comic I read where I don't know if it was made around the time that foreshortening was outlawed. It may have been because there's a cell where if Captain America's one of Captain America's legs is not drawn to be under him, like if more than like 50% of it is showing, then Captain America is lying on the ground, fucking dead, instead of running down an alleyway. With how perspective works, and
Yeah,
that's not a knock on the art. Perspective is just that fucking hard.
yeah.
But yeah. So continue. Fantastic Four.
Right. So the first 5 issues of Fantastic Four, yeah, these are not the characters that everyone's used to. Human Torch has already got a little bit of his usual personality,
I
but
mean, yeah, that's not Johnny though, is it?
it's Johnny. It's Johnny. It's Fantastic Four. The not the
Oh yeah.
robot Human Torch was from the 40s.
Ah yeah.
Johnny. So Johnny, I think is mostly the fine. Reed Reed has to be smart for their origin story, but other than that, they have not like highlighted Reed's intelligence at all. Reed, the weird thing is, the way these first few comics make it work. I mean, it's old school comics, and especially Stan Lee when Stan Lee has to try and do fantastical stuff. More often than not, the villains defeat themselves, or there's just some silly way of defeating the villains.
Yeah.
But Reed seems to be the strongest Fantastic Four member in a lot of this early stuff, if it isn't Johnny.
I mean,
Johnny,
Reed is Stretch Armstrong. So
like, no, dude, like, right. They had no idea of like how far Reed could stretch or how tough Reed's body could be. There's a part where there's a giant like dinosaur rampaging through the middle of New York. Reed goes between 2 apartment buildings with open windows and just stretches himself between all of the windows, meaning he must be stretched within the buildings going up and down the staircases as well, leaving a net that the dinosaur gets caught on. And the dinosaur's just like, oh, geez, oh, I can't get past this, oh. And there's several parts where things that like should have been like I would think should have hurt Reed just bounce off him because Reed's rubber.
yeah, I mean,
That's
like
and
that's the thing. Like Plastic Man retains the OP-ness of Reed Richards of yesteryear, while Reed got nerfed so to be realistic. Plastic Man,
yeah,
Plastic Man takes no shits.
yeah. And the really weird thing is Stanley does not like the Thing. The Thing in his first 5 issues is a fucking prick. For one thing, Stanley, bless him, has no idea how to write dialogue. His dialogue for Ben is the same dialogue he uses for all the villains, which is, "Oh, you fool! You don't understand how great I am! Yada yada! Oh, you fool, fool! I am
Ragnar
great!
Lundberg
Yes,
came down and sucked my dick because I'm that great.
yeah, pretty well." Like, you don't read Ben's dialogue with the "Hey, I'm Ben Grimm. I'm from New Jersey" kind of voice you should in your head. You read Ben's dialogue as, "Aha! It is I, Doctor Grimm." Like, what the hell? And Ben's an asshole. He hates the other 2 Fantastic Four members. He's fine with Sue, but he despises both Reed and Johnny. Which they establish, okay, he blames Reed a little bit for what happened to him, which is fun, right? That can work.
Yeah.
But Reed and Ben, it's been established in the 70 years since this comic that Reed and Ben are 60 years. That Reed and Ben are like best friends since high school. But when they show the Fantastic Four before they got in the incident, Ben was a bully and an asshole who treated Reed like shit. And like Ben's got none of his good heartedness here. Every single supervillain, Ben wants to kill them. Every single supervillain, guaranteed. Reed has to wrap himself around Ben to hold him back because Ben tries to kill the supervillain. Every time a supervillain first shows up, Ben is like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Oh, he runs up and he gets pitch slapped and he gets knocked out for the rest of the story. Great, thanks,
Yeah,
Ben.
after the first round of Fantastic Four, Ben got his own separate comic series where he painted his body black, except for the front part where he painted a white skull on his on his chest.
Yeah, Punisher if he was a lame asshole.
Yeah,
And Jack Kirby did not know how to draw the Thing yet. He wound up forming a stronger idea of how to draw Thing later. But because he didn't know how to draw the Thing yet, and they were trying to emphasize more so that Ben was a monster in these early comics, Ben does not look like the Thing. He looks like somebody fried a moldy potato.
so the thing.
I guess. Well, no, but the thing has that big, muscular shape to him. He's shaped
Yeah,
like the Hulk if Hulk was made out of rocks.
yeah,
Ben, he,
the thing is the thing is a buff sentient basketball. Yes.
yeah, yeah, pretty well. Here, he looks like if you deflated the regular thing. Honestly,
Ah,
he's a lot shorter. He's not much
it's
taller than Reed,
it's before he
and he's
started
just kind of
using steroids.
rotund. Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
ask me how he injects it though.
oh man, and here's the other thing. Like, the classic thing about Ben as a character is that he looks like a monster on the outside, but he's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. He's got a heart of gold and all that, right?
Yeah.
But, like, there is none of that here. Ben is just as much of a monster on the inside as he is on the outside. Like, here, it's not even that he feels bad about being ugly because he's like, oh, nobody will ever love me again. Here, it's just like, oh, now that I'm ugly, Sue will never leave Reed for me. Why? And
Instead of shouting, it's clamoring time. Every time a match, no, freaking a match, a fight starts, the thing just rips a puppy apart with its hands.
yeah, pretty well. Yeah, exactly. Like, of course, Stanley was. I'll be honest. Stanley was a shit writer in a lot of ways. Stanley had no idea how to write women other than in love triangles. So yet again, he works his hands here. It's Reed and Sue are already engaged at the start of the story. By the way, I did not know that. They're already engaged at the start of Fantastic Four, the very first issue. Sue refers to Reed as her fiance.
But yeah, but
Which,
Reed is for the married man. Spider-Man is for the teenage boys.
I, yeah, and now they've got Miles. They've got Miles Morales. So there's your teenage Spider-Man. And let Peter be adult Spider-Man.
No, Tony
Whatever.
Stark.
Peter is everything except Peter Parker
Yeah,
nowadays. Uh, oh God.
I look forward to Spider Punisher.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, they're already doing that. They're already doing that. That's a
Wait,
big alternate universe event they're running right now. Is there's a Spider Punisher running around who had his web shooters replaced with pistols.
oh,
So he's got whenever he does like the classic Spider-Man hand gesture of the two
he
middle
shoots a
fingers getting
gun.
pushed in, he shoots a gun.
Okay, that's
I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. It just replaced the web shooters with guns.
how
So
does
he
he
just
swing?
does the Spider-Man gesture at people and their heads fly
How
off.
does he swing? That's dumb.
Yeah, yeah, it
Shit.
is.
I feel
And
like yeah.
he's wearing a black and white version of the Spider-Man costume, I think, with little highlights of red and a skull symbol on the front because he's the Spider Punisher. Ugh.
Uh, I would have liked it better if if he just had the classic, like if he had the classic freaking blue and red, but like the freaking the arm part would have blackened because of all of the gunpowder.
That would have been good, yes.
Uh, he's also health deaf from setting off guns from arm's length without any protection.
Yeah, yeah. It
But yeah, the freaking what I was going to say is that like if they actually wanted to do a proper Punisher story, they should just like transition into actually like okay, this could only work if they plan on retiring Peter for a bit. But apparently, what's still being built up to, even though it's not really being built up to, but anyway, what was apparently set up is that eventually, less stand Spider-Man would be the way to send out Peter as a character. Which I mean, I don't think Peter should die. Like, I don't think. Like, okay, no. The best way, better way to put it is Peter can't die because he's a comic character. Comic characters never die. But freaking like if they actually want to retire Peter for a bit, they could just build up to the last stand and tie it together to that one time he went through the freaking the time loop with Doctor Strange. Because like there is a story where or okay, we don't actually know a lot about what happens in the last stand, but from what I understand, what happens is Spider-Man gets careless and accidentally kills Craven. And then once he's killed Craven, he's just like, okay, you know what, whatever, fuck it. He kills Doc Ock and then dies in a, in freaking gunfight with the cops. Like okay, no, saying he dies in a gunfight, it freaking puts it like he actually fought back,
Wait,
but
wait,
yeah,
wait, 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 wait. There's a come to think of it, there's already a Spiner Punisher, Kane.
yeah, you're right.
What the hell? Okay. You were saying?
But yeah, like I guess it's like it's less that he was in a gunfight, but more just like he made it seem like a gunfight, or he made it seem like he wanted to fight the cops, but he just wanted to die because he didn't actually want to kill
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
that seems like a good way to freaking to make Peter kill while also retaining his character, in my opinion. He just
Well,
fucks up.
technically
Yeah.
technically speaking, Peter has already killed someone. There was some instance where a woman, a supervillain woman, snuck up on Peter at just the wrong time. Spider-Man whipped around and punched her with way too much strength and snapped her neck.
Ah,
So it was an accident, but yes, Peter has killed someone in the main universe.
I see. You see, like that's an interesting thing though. Like that's I think one of the big things that people, or not people, just the writers I get wrong about Batman is that, in my opinion, Batman killing just as an idea isn't interesting overall. But Batman dealing with having killed would be an interesting setup.
Yeah.
Like it.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
most brutal instance of that was whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, which was the Superman story where all of his villains go berserk, and it turns out it's because Mixie's Pitlick is fucking with him, right?
Ah, yeah.
And Mixie's Pitlick reveals his true form, which is, of course, the bizarro polygonal creature. And
I don't know.
Superman,
I don't know why you were going to say which is of course Batman.
yeah, it was me, Clark. I was the author of all your pain.
when, when you went out with freaking when you went, oh, I'm forgetting her name. Who's Clark's love interest?
Lois.
Yeah, Lois. When you went out with Lois in Smallville, when you were both 17 and you came in your pants, it was me, Clark. I turned you off.
Yeah. Could you imagine if it turned out that fucking Yobert Thawne or whatever his name was all the supervillains at once?
That
It
would
was
be
me.
funny.
I was the Joker.
Yeah. It's not even an
I
alternate.
used my super speed to beat all of them at once.
I used my super speed to go crazy and have green hair.
That's right, Batman. I was Talia al Ghul. I
I
was the one
raped
who
you.
got pregnant with Damien.
Shit. And Poison Ivy, that was me too. I kissed Harley Quinn, and I was Harley Quinn as well. I kissed myself, Batman.
At what
Shit.
point does it turn out that he was the heroes too, and Yobert Thawne's just running a one-man play?
No, there's only two characters in this play. There's the Reverse Flash and there's Batman. Bruce Wayne is the actual only superhero, and everyone else is just the Reverse Flash fucking with him.
All the civilians on the street, Reverse Flash.
Alfred, Reverse
Alfred,
Flash.
Gordon, Reverse Flash. Barbara, she's Reverse Flash too, in
Yeah,
a wig.
yeah. All of the freaking all of the orphans that Bruce took in, Reverse Flash.
Yeah, they're just walking around on their knees the whole time.
Yeah. Shit. Damian Wayne, Reverse Flash. Why not? Him too.
Reverse Flash has had to kill himself so many times.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a dead timeline, anyways. Fuck it. Yeah, right. Back to Fantastic Four. Oh, jeez. Ah, it is funny reading through these because you can watch Stan Lee learning how to be a less shit writer. Because the first issue of Fantastic Four, it's Mole Man, right?
yeah.
And Mole Man takes Reed and Johnny to his underground lair, and he's like, "I'm Mole Mole Man, I'm going to explain my entire evil plan to you for no reason. Then I'm going to try to kill you for no reason.
I don't remember his design, so I just imagined Hosmo Man from Simpsons.
More or less that, but with sunglasses.
Ah, I see.
And then, they beat him, and it's like, whatever. And, just have the villain explain the entirety of the plot. Just that's good writing.
Yeah.
And then a few issues later, they were like, Stanley was like, okay, that was kind of hackneyed. So they bring in Doctor Doom, right? Who flies in on a helicopter and tells the Fantastic Four he's taking them all hostage.
Yeah, Dr. Mood.
And
Best hero.
yeah, and Reed goes, hang on, I recognize that voice. It's my old colleague, Victor Von Doom. Oh, he had an experiment that I told him was too dangerous, but he told me to fuck off and eat shit, and then his experiment exploded and blew his face off. And it's like, okay, good work, Stan. You figured out how to write a character without having the character explain himself to the audience for no real reason. Good.
Uh, when Mike was talking about Better Mordo, I forget whoever on the forums the
Yeah.
figure. I was like, did Mike just look at a Doctor Doom figure and just think that he's black because his face is disfigured?
I okay, that does require a bit of clarification. It is a whole debate whether or not Doom is really that disfigured.
I don't think he is. Like in my head, but I was like, maybe they released a figure of him that puts it higher than it should be in my eyes. And then
It's a debate.
yeah,
If memory serves, Stanley and Jack Kirby could never agree on what Doom looks like under the mask. Because I want to
he
say
looks like Fabio.
Stanley felt that Doom should be genuinely scarred and messed up, and Jack Kirby felt that Doom's scar should actually just be something really minor, but Doom's so egotistical he sees it as a massive scar, right?
Yeah.
And later on, a third idea was thrown into the pool by a later writer. I forget who, probably John Byrne. The idea it was a tiny initial scar, but Doom was so egotistical he had to cover it up as soon as possible. So he immediately threw on the iron mask as soon as it was done smelting and burned his face to be much worse.
Ah,
So that one's a
yeah.
little from column A, a little from column B, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, like, okay, I believe Doom's scar is small. At the same time, like, I kind of prefer the scar being big because Doom doesn't strike me as like Doom strikes me as egotistical and shit, but it doesn't strike me as the like it doesn't strike me as like Vega.
Yeah,
He's much more serious than that in my eyes.
yeah. The other thing I should mention is in modern comics, Doom's face is not scarred at all because Reed fixed it a few years ago.
Ah,
But nowadays, Doom's a good guy, so I guess
yeah.
things are just different in general with Doom.
Yeah, ever since he cut off his mouthpiece and then reversed it and welded it back on, things have changed.
Doctor Mood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really want them to do
Doctor
that.
Doom.
Doctor Dude, it's he still has the cloak. He still has the cloak. No. He still has the cloak and mask on, but aside from that, he only has surf shorts.
And slippers and the fucking jacket from Big Lebowski. He just sits around Castle Latveria sipping White Russians, but the villains keep coming and bothering him.
Yeah.
How
many more
together, man?
How many more Victor Van Doom variants will we be able to come up with?
Dr. Moom.
He's that's just his like right side image mirrored.
Yeah. With the eyes wall-eyed.
Yeah.
That's Bizarro Doom from Bizarro's Planet. All right. Anyways, to get back to it. So here's the thing about Doctor Doom's first appearance, right? Do you
Yeah.
want to know what Doctor Doom's evil scheme is in the first appearance?
Stealing all the Fantastic Four coupons.
That'd be pretty good. It's actually lamer than that. Kidnapping the Fantastic Four and taking Sue hostage to motivate them so that he can send Reed, Ben, and Johnny back in time to steal Blackbeard's treasure to bring back for Doom.
Nice.
That is the lamest reason for Doom's debut ever.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do want to say,
Yeah.
they were starting to come along on making the Fantastic Four actually be fun to read about, because the Fantastic Four were not fun to read about until then. They were honestly just a bunch of pricks. But that one
Ah,
had
so
some
the
fun because
most TV shows nowadays.
yeah. So they go back in time, right?
Yeah.
And all of them get disguised. And for Thing, they're like, "Well, Ben, you can't be running around with a rock face like this. We'll give you an eye patch and a big beard. Okay, there you go." And they're sailing the high seas and just kind of like, I guess we'll find Blackbeard. Thanks, Vic.
And
We have no clue where he is.
then Ben's
Dumb metal
Blackbeard,
asshole.
right?
And and after they loot a ship for a big amount of treasure, all the pirates start calling Ben Blackbeard, and it turns out, oh, we've accidentally made Blackbeard. And that shit stays canon, even to the modern Marvel stuff.
Nice.
Ben was still Blackbeard. And every now and then you'll still see them acknowledging, like, "Yeah, yeah, Blackbeard, that was pretty cool. You know, I once heard he had a rocky face. How about that shit?" And Ben might be like, "I don't know about that Blackbeard guy, you know, but he seemed pretty sexy if you ask me. I don't know about
That Blackbeard guy sure has rocks.
yeah, man, I heard that Blackbeard guy, he had pretty tough skin. I also heard he had a massive 10-foot cock. I don't know who told me that, but I heard it. Oh, man. All right. The other ones that I read the first issue of, let's see. Read the first issue of Spider-Man. Not much to say about that one. It's actually the Raimi origin story is actually more or less a straight rip of the original.
Yeah.
The only difference is that in the comic book, after he goes and wrestles the wrestling match, Spider-Man then goes and does a bunch of talk show appearances,
Yeah.
and then
He's real
and
big in the
then while he's
South.
on one, yeah, and then while he's on one of the talk show appearances, it's there that he runs into the burglar and he lets the burglar go, and then the burglar kills Uncle Ben.
Yeah. What did you think about Spider-Man's pupils?
Oh, Spider-Man pupils. Yes, that was a very strange design choice, and I'm glad that Ditko later stopped drawing pupils for him.
I really like how he couldn't decide whether he wants it to whether he wants them to be a thing or not. So like every two cells there's a cell with pupils, and there's two more that don't have them anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Comic books were poverty back then. That was one of the comics that made comic books not poverty.
Yeah.
I just love the Spider-Man with pupils. I don't know why. It's just so simple. If Spider-Man has pupils, he looks like he's high on crack.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Spider-Man with pupils is actively thinking about stabbing you.
Yeah.
Like, I really like I really like the one where he has pupils where he's choking the guy because it looks threatening.
Yeah. Here's one
That
other
comic
thing.
is great. Yeah. Anyway.
Uncle Ben does not say, "With great power comes great responsibility."
No.
Ben maybe gets one dialogue line, which is, "Hey, Peter, you're a great kid." And later on, he just gets shot off panel too. We never get to see. We get to see Ben like once or twice before he gets shot, and we never get to see his death.
Ben gets one line of dialogue. It's with great power comes a lot of bitches, and then he dies.
Yeah. Kill them all, Peter.
Yeah. No, that's his Force Ghost from the moon.
Yeah. On the moon. Um. Uh. The other thing I want to say about Spider-Man's first issue, it ends with Spider-Man then walking off into the sunset after having, caught the guy who killed Ben and all that. And it just simply says, "Now having walked away and learned the greatest life responsibility, great power or something, walks away into legend, the Spider-Man, surely one of the biggest legends in history." And it's like, Man, if I had read that in the '60s, I'd have been thinking, Stan Lee, you asshole. This character's probably you can't
Stanley,
guarantee this
you
character's gonna
hack.
walk away into legend. What?
Stanley, you hack.
Yeah. Whereas now, reading it, 60 years later, it's like, yeah, that character did walk away into legend. How about
Yeah.
that shit?
Yeah, that
Every now and then, a writer says something really arrogant and turns out to be right.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about those shows of arrogance though, like with that and with freaking I think Kickstart My Heart from Motley Crue has a part like that where they go, we kicked a lot of ass and we're gonna kick more ass, and like, okay, cool. Can you actually like make a song? Like, could we continue with the actual music that you're here to perform? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Stan
Yeah.
Stan is very big on blowing himself up, that's for certain. With Fantastic Four, he keeps calling them the four living legends and so on. And Stan has another thing where every single comic he acts like it's the final last stand of the Fantastic Four, and it's like, shut up, Stan. If everything is a special event, Stan, nothing is a special event.
But no, Civil War 4.
Stan's dead, so that's not even
I
his
know.
fault.
I know that's not his wait, I thought they were only on the 3rd one.
They're starting a third one?
There was a 3rd one.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were joking. I thought you were joking. Oh
I
Jesus.
I I feel like I remember there being a third Civil War, and then I joked about the 4th one being a thing.
Civil War 3 better have been Deadpool versus Squirrel Girl.
Civil War 3 was Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe again. It's the same guy. Like
This
it's
time the Marvel Universe this time the Marvel Universe wins. It's a squash.
no, it's the same comic. They just crudely traced it.
Yeah. I kind of like my idea better. I think Hulk just eats Deadpool. Nom. All right, there you go. Speaking of Hulk, I also read the first issue of the Incredible Hulk, and I gotta say, like the first 5 issues of Fantastic Four, pretty stinky. First issue of Spider-Man, kind of stinky. First issue of Hulk, up to a certain point, I thought, oh, this is actually pretty good. This is already kind of the Hulk. There's things that are different.
I mean
First thing,
the only the only knowledge I have of comics Hulk is from the Avengers comic, and in that one he's just sad and depressed. So I'm assuming that's what you mean by he's Hulk. He's sad and depressed. He wants to die.
yeah, yeah, Hulk. That's a lot of Hulk's character. Yeah, like okay, for one thing, there are the major differences of for one thing, Hulk is blue in this comic for some reason. I heard about him being gray because he is gray on the cover.
He wanted to go fast.
Yeah. Hulk is very talkative in this comic, which I guess it is still Grey Hulk, and Grey Hulk is a lot more talkative. And Hulk is a werewolf in the original comic.
Ah,
He's Bruce
what?
Banner by day, but he turns into the Hulk every night.
Ah,
That did not last. Yeah, it was a good thing they changed some things about Hulk, making him green, making him a bit bigger, making it where he turned when he was angry rather than at night. Because Hulk in this comic is a little bit of just a ripoff of a variety of Hammer horror characters, you know?
yeah.
A little bit of werewolf, a little bit of the Frankenstein, a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, which I'm sure is just how Stan Lee came up with him in the first place, was just mixed together a bunch of classic horror characters. But there is one thing I want to say. Not a lot of like really awesome big moments of the heroes doing anything in these early Lee Kirby comics. But Hulk gets an immediate cool moment. The first time he turns into Hulk is after, the gamma bomb detonates and they've got him in like kind of a little inpatient place where they're like, hey, we need to check you out. And then he turns into Hulk, busts through the wall, walks out into the street of the military base. A Jeep full of soldiers is driving towards him head on, and the Hulk just punches the Jeep square in the middle of its grill, and it explodes into shards of metal. And I read that, and it's like a very well drawn little panel there. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is probably the first actual cool Marvel Comics moment because, goddamn, Jack Kirby does it well. It's a sick ass moment of Hulk just exploding a Jeep around him. And the panel is done in such a wide way that it almost looks like a slow-mo shot in an action movie, right?
Yeah.
And that was good. That was good. They do a lot of good character bits for both Bruce Banner and Hulk. Even from the beginning, Bruce Banner's a little bit of an asshole, which I liked. And then halfway through the story just takes a turn. Turns out one of the scientists who was working on the Gamma bomb with Bruce Banner was a Russian spy. By the way, a lot of these early comics boil down to Russians. And this Russian spy lets a Russian agent back in the USSR called the Gargoyle know about this. And the Gargoyle's gimmick is he's got a big brain. Okay. The Gargoyle comes back and kid he kidnaps the Hulk by shooting him with a gun that makes him have no willpower, and then makes him come with him back to the USSR. They get into a rocket fired from a nuclear submarine and shoot off back to Russia within like an hour.
Ah, so that's how
They
he
get
became the Red Hulk.
there. They get back to Russia. Hulk turns back into Banner. Banner and then Banner's like, "Oh, I'm just a radiation scientist, Mr. Gargoyle." And the Gargoyle's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Can you put me through a radiation experiment where I get turned back into a normal human because I hate having a gigantic brain. I look like a freak." Banner's like, "Yeah." So Banner puts him through a radiation experiment right there, or just in the middle of Russia. I guess they just let him do it. And cures the Gargoyle, turns him back to a regular human, and Gargoyle's like, "Thank you, comrade, for curing me. I will send you back to America now." And Banner just hops back in the fucking rocket, zips back over to America within an hour. And they cut back to Gargoyle getting, harangued by Soviet authorities, like, "Hey, why did you let Banner go? He was the Hulk. We could have used him." And Gargoyle's like, "LOL, don't care." And then he suicide bombs the place.
Nice.
And yeah, there you go. That's the first issue of Hulk. And it's like, what the fuck? The first half of the issue was like good, proper Hulk stuff of, it's like the Hulk. He's dealing with the issues of being the Hulk and he's a little bit on the run from the military. Oh, what's he going to do? The back half is just like, oh, here's a Soviet dude, looks like an alien. He's going to kidnap the Hulk, then send him back and then kill himself. What? That was a whole lot of something for a whole lot of nothing. What the hell? And Banner doesn't even act surprised by any of it. The fact that he's gone from being a regular scientist who can now turn into a monster. Oh, here's this alien looking dude from the Soviets, kidnaps him, sends him back. Oh, well, all's in a day's work.
Yeah.
What?
It was the 60s, so he was probably high.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something was high. Oh, God. Well, I'll keep pushing on through. At the very least, with Fantastic Four, I want to definitely push through and read a lot of your first issues for a lot of the classic guys. I definitely want to push through in Fantastic Four to the Galactus arc because that's always what I hear is good. But I'll be honest, a lot of this Stan Lee stuff I really want to skip because I'm sure that we can talk more about it with Pink in 2 weeks when Pink comes back. But goddamn, Stan Lee was not very good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Stanley is the reason I hate Hank Pym, so yeah, I think.
yeah, Hank Pimp.
I mean, he would have been if he could have been.
I got. Oh boy! The thing is, I know that when I hit the
Speak,
Avengers comics soon enough, I'll be
speaking of
dealing with.
speaking of Hank Pym, there's a reference to the Prodigy in Assassin's Creed Valhalla where there's like a guy singing "Smack My Bishop," so
Smack my bishop. Okay, what the fuck? All right, and there we go. The last thing I did this week, Elden Ring. Ooh,
I heard it is the
so
Dark Souls.
it is the Souls, but the open world. Yes. One thing I'll go ahead and say, the classic Miyazaki thing of just open, wide open progression, very much in place. Game starts you off and it's like, hey, you should probably go check up that castle up there. There's probably something important there, but you can go do whatever you want. And you already start off with a fairly big landmass to explore, which I did. And I found a cave, and I went in that cave, and there was a chest, and that chest opened up, and it was all smoky and shit. And that smoky shit teleported me to what I'm almost certain was an in-game area.
Nice.
It spawned me into a mine where there were miners who would kill me in one hit, and I couldn't do any shit damage to them. So I was like, okay, fuck this. I
Oh,
sprinted on out of there.
that's a lot of angry children.
Yeah. I sprinted on out of there, out of the cave, and I figured, oh, it'll just take me to another spot of the starting area, right? No, I go out into a weird hell zone where there's plague boils growing all over the earth, and it's like, okay, I am not ready for this. Just fast travel my ass back to the starting zone. Thank you very much. But that is cool because that's not very useful for me right now. But once I've already played a lot of the game and I'm going on my second playthrough, that's awesome because I can teleport to the end game, rush past a lot of the enemies, and pick up a lot of the end game shit. So that's nice. The thing about Elden Ring during the build up is that a lot of it was like, this is just straight up Souls epitomized. They have brought together the improvements of all of the Souls games in one. And yeah, there's a lot of that. We got stealth from Sekiro. We got the ability to jump from Sekiro. God forbid the ability to jump. We've got power stancing from Dark Souls 2. We've got weapon arts from Dark Souls 3. We got like all kinds of shit here. And they've done away with a lot of the really annoying features of Dark Souls. For instance, stamina does not exist outside of combat. If an enemy is aggroed on you, then stamina works as a mechanic, but outside of combat, stamina does not exist as a mechanic. You can sprint and jump and just swing around like a maniac all you want. Item durability, gone. Just entirely gone.
I mean, it barely existed.
That is true. That is very true. Now it's just gone. Because I mean, to be fair, Dark Souls was it Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 where either Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 item durability, I think it was Dark Souls 3. Item durability preload just did not exist as a mechanic because every time you rested at the bonfire, it fully restored the durability of the item. But the items were not at Dark Souls 2 level of durability. Dark Souls 2 had it where items repaired themselves at bonfires because items in Dark Souls 2 broke real quick. Dark Souls 1 items take a long fucking time to break, but you have to go to get them repaired at a blacksmith, right?
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, not no, it just repairs for free, and also it's got massive amounts of durability, so you can just ignore the entire mechanic. I mean, from the very beginning, item durability was a pointless mechanic in Souls. I usually forget item durability exists at all in Bloodborne because it fits so poorly with the rest of Bloodborne's mechanics, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, the big advertised thing with Elden Ring is mounted combat. You can now ride a horse, and they're trying to actually make a game where mounted combat is fun. And I gotta say, it probably varies a lot depending on your weapon, but for my part, it seems that they really succeeded. It does remind me a lot of Mountain Blade, which is not a bad thing, because Mountain Blade is probably the best game for mounted combat. And it differs depending on the weapon. Every weapon seems to have a different move set for mounted combat. I chose the samurai starting class, so I started with a katana. The katana, already just on its face, for one thing, how they have it is right bumper to swing to the right of the horse, left bumper to swing left of the horse, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then right trigger and left trigger are to do heavies. Well, how do you do a heavy swing with a katana from horseback?
You
Well,
spin
that's
on
the
your belly
trick.
on the horse's back.
Yeah. So, at least with a katana, I don't know what it does with each of the weapons. I know that there's a lance in the game that you can get a lance and actually do proper cavalry charges where your character will actually couch the lance properly and hold it out, and you can just run into people to stab the shit out of them with the lance. You don't even have to time it. But the thing that I really like, the heavy mounted attack while you're on a horse with a katana, as long as you hold down the heavy button, your character just simply leans off and reaches down with a katana and drags the katana along the ground, and it leaves sparks.
Ah,
And
nice.
and if you run into somebody to the side while you're doing it, they get collision damage on the katana while you're hanging it down.
It would be funny if it also set them on fire from the sparks.
That would be cool. That's a good question, actually, come to think of it, because they've made a lot of the items a lot more accessible because now it's an open world game, so you can find all kinds of ingredients that can be mixed together to make items, right? And a Dark Souls classic was there's always, here's the item that for a little bit lights your sword on fire. Here's the item that for a little bit makes your sword shoot lightning or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, here in Dark Souls, that could be a bit rough, especially in the early game, because they were pretty rare drops, and usually whenever you had to go to the shop, they were pretty expensive. Not the problem in Elden Ring. Because all you need to make the stuff to light your sword on fire is find the little weird lava shit that grows on the roots of trees, which are everywhere, and find there's a certain variety of butterfly that gathers near fires, and you can get those. Just craft those together, and you can light your sword on fire. So come to think of it, I need to light my sword on fire, then drag the katana along on horseback just to light people on fire. That'd be awesome. Oh man, there's a lot of that to go around. They made fire bombs a lot more accessible because now you just get a item called the cracked pot, and those are a basically kind of an unlimited resource. What it is
Then you get an attack buff for smoking crack cocaine.
yes, probably if the crack cocaine comes from the big golden tree in the sky, probably. So the cracked pots are pots that can be filled with fire or other things from the ingredients you gather. You can use them, and once they're used, they turn back into regular cracked pots. So you don't have to just buy or find new fire bombs anymore. Just make some, and you always get the container back for it. So there's a lot more encouragement to actually use items in this game because they're just a lot easier to use. And over the course of the game, you accrue more and more cracked pots from purchasing them or from whatever, meaning you get access to more and more fire bombs over the course of the game. Ah, it's really nice. There's just so many improvements on the Souls formula. The thing I've been thinking going through this game is, I'll be honest, it's going to be hard to go back to any of the other Souls games after this. Like there will always be the value of the Dark Souls story, the Bloodborne story, and the Bloodborne aesthetic is not here, of course, and it's not quite the Bloodborne pacing, right? It's not as fast and aggressive as Bloodborne, and I've had to remind myself that frequently because there's several times in Elden Ring where I've just tried to go ham on a boss, and the boss just pitch slapped me, and it's like, oh, right, this is not Bloodborne. I can't just go nuts. So far as I'm aware,
Mhm.
they've
You need
implemented a
you
new
need to
mechanic.
you need to learn the freaking the magic chanting of Kokodeska, and then I've actually looked up what that means, by the way.
What does it mean?
Is it here?
Ah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So he's predicting where you're gonna be. That's cute. That's cute. But the what was I gonna say? Right. So weapon arts were a thing in Dark Souls 3. Every weapon had a special move tied to it that you could use to spend mana, so that even if you weren't a mage character, you still had a reason to use mana. And they brought that back, and every weapon still does have a weapon art tied to it. But they also introduced teachable weapon arts, right? Like the good old HM type stuff from Pokemon.
Yeah,
And there are several basic ones,
like
and
Flash
one of the ones
and freaking
yeah,
Rock Smash.
I think kind of. At the very least, there's already one of the teachable weapon arts I know for certain is a ground stomp that can stun nearby enemies. But one of the teachable weapon arts is quick step, which is of course the dodge from Bloodborne. So that one makes me curious. Oh, and they also decided, oh, fuck it, let's just introduce a new playstyle thing altogether. They've also introduced spirits. Spirits you can spend from your mana to summon just minions. You start off with a pack of wolves. I found one other summon since, which is a pack of jellyfish. I have not summoned them yet, but
Ah,
I
yes,
need to.
we call those a Jello.
Yeah. And so there's also the inevitable question of like open world Dark Souls. So how do bosses work? So obviously there's several dungeons you can find all over the map, and thankfully they're very small, short dungeons. Well, I've heard there are a couple deep, long ones. And at the end of these dungeons, you will pretty well always find a boss. But there are also just bosses running around in the open world
Yeah.
that you can just run into.
I just imagine you go into a dungeon, you can't beat the boss, so you try to run out, or you realize in the middle of the fight is you can't beat the boss, so you try running away, and then they just start running after you, yelling, "Shocker! I followed you to the end of the earth!"
You're just running up staircases.
Yeah,
Yeah, the game credit where credit is due. The game tries to teach you that immediately because as soon as you step out the front door of the little tutorial area and you enter the real open world, you see the first open world boss walking around right in front of you. I chose to sneak around him because I figured, ooh, that guy looks like serious business. But later on, when I ran into him again, it's like, holy shit, yeah, this guy's very much here to teach you what this game's about. There's another little section where you walk up on what you think is a fairly innocuous scene of a couple of weak enemies. They're going to loot them. Oh, great. As soon as you walk up, a massive dragon just slams its ass down, kills all of them, and then you just see a health bar start forming up at the bottom, right?
Nice.
And yeah, I was walking through the swamp. I saw that. I went, oh! I turned my ass around and I peeled out of there.
And then you didn't get away
Yeah.
because the dragon can fly.
Yes, actually, yes, I got fucked. The game is definitely a lot happier about respawns and checkpoints. There's of course the classic bonfires. They're not called bonfires anymore. They're called sites of grace, but they're bonfires, you know.
Yeah.
But now there are also the stakes of Merica or Marika. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, which are spots where it's not quite proper bonfires. You can't rest there to refill your health and your vials, but if you die, you can respawn there. And those are specifically placed near boss fights, specifically so you don't have to haul ass there from a bonfire.
Nice.
Very nice little quality of life feature there. Yeah. And the last thing I want to say is I've always been fond of Souls having the just most out there bizarro designs. I gotta say, Elden Ring is a good mix of like just your usual, like, oh, here's a castle, it's got some men at arms, here's some knights, cool. Then there's also like, oh, there's a stone pit in the earth with like weird alien formations, and it's just around it, there's just a bunch of like weird stone robot millipedes who are like have Rayman physics to them where their body parts aren't actually connected, but they're moving as if they're connected. And they're like bizarrely friendly. They don't seem to fight back.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's gonna be a I'm wondering if there's gonna be a twist halfway through. Because Bloodborne has the famous twist. The first half of the game is Gothic horror. The last half of the game is Lovecraft, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's going to be something up with this because I see they show you there's all kinds of weird just
Alex, I have something bad to tell you.
what?
Elden Ring is an Easter simulation.
Oh no! Oh no!
The twist at the end of the game is that Juno shows up and with Desmond Miles.
Dude, could you imagine if the way that you just start that is just simply like there's a simple mid-game dungeon, you beat an enemy, the enemy is labeled like the assassin of whatever, right? And it's like, oh, okay. And you beat him, and it just tells you you picked up the hidden blade. What?
Nah, that would be too on the nose. The freaking like it needs to tie into the current shitty Isu stuff, with which is like really like okay. So the old Assassin's Creed Isu stuff made sense because it was mysterious and we didn't see much and all that. Now how they handle the sci-fi is that you just have these long gameplay sequences where you play in heaven more or less, but it's just a really advanced freaking like city with loads of nature and shit, and everyone is just like robot people because Isu. And so like what I'm imagining is that you're close to beating the game, and then suddenly fucking Juno should just okay, Juno can't show up because she's dead, but uh freaking like Alicia shows up, and she challenges you to a duel, and then as you fight her, the more and more the simulation falls apart, and then the game the game loses its fantasy elements, and the more and more it just becomes sterile and freaking like and square blocks with glowing scribbles on them.
Yeah.
And then once you beat her, the fantasy remains, but you're left questioning if it's just a fucking anime simulation.
I see. Oh man. All right. The Elden Ring's cool. I guess that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I heard that it's a good Souls game for people who like Souls, so not me. pretty much.
All right, and I believe we can probably wrap up the podcast here. At least I'm hoping so, because I'll be honest, for about the last hour and a half, possibly 2 hours, I have needed to take a shit real bad.
All right. Well, I don't know what else I could really talk about. So yeah, I think we're fine.
Yeah, leave it, Addy. Say bye.
I thought about waiting a whole minute, but I'm not that cruel.